Welcome to Monday Night Live on Sportswire Radio because we are kicking the week off in store. You thought last night was figuratively and literally our biggest segment yet? Wait until No Strangers to Sportswire Radio with us and look at the gold they have between us. They have countless championships. I lost count. And listen, tonight's show between these guys and Disciple, I mean, listen, the Four Horsemen will have nothing on them and the amount of championships that they'll have here. And our guests first are going to talk a lot about what they have on the agenda, plus maybe some society thoughts or two, and who knows what else. They need no further introductions, but we'll still give it to them anyway. So, wait for it. Further ado here on the Sports Report. Number one, the Sports Show. Pro wrestling stars here. The First Classes, the Nomad, Dalton, Garrett, and Shepard. The champs are here. Gentlemen, how are you?
Never a dull moment on this show. That's all I can say.
Never a dull moment. Yeah. Honestly, I think that every time we come on here, the introduction just gets better.
Yeah. Well, Howard Finkel would be proud. He really would. So.
I would hope I'd have a little bit more hair than Harold Finkel. I would hope I'd have a little bit more mutton chops than the fake Howard Finkel, obviously. And I do have a few more comments here, which already off the bat says Michael Knoll says it's two of my favorite people. And
that's very flattering. Thank you.
Uncle Ralph. Hey, you know Uncle Ralph. I was watching Uncle Ralph in the background. I was watching this morning the Hammerhead Smith Jr. versus the Chiron match here at the last CCW show this past weekend. So nice to see Uncle Ralph with us. And I was telling somebody actually that was one of our listeners, and I was trying to impress her. I said, well, you know, one of my things that's kind of my signature on Sportswire is my introductions. And then she kind of listened to it. It was like, wow, it actually is really impressive. So
always a pleasure, okay. Uncle Ralph. We hope to step into the ring with your boys hopefully very soon.
Well, you know, we were speaking about those boys off the air and trying to compare and contrast who's taller. But here nor there, we'll definitely come back to that. But, gentlemen, it has been a hot skip in a minute since we've had you here on Sportswire Radio. And, you know, the last time I heard your guys' names, about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and we had some society members on here, whether it was The Upgrade, Callum Jakester, Remus Kane, who we just saw at the last CCW Carnage show here, and a number of different other people in the comment section, and
hence why we're back. When starts foaming at the mouth about us, you don't.
I was going to lead up to. You know, I know you guys have been here a few times now, but I mean, certainly Mr. Kane, Mr. Majakester, 2/4 of the first ever and current nonstop action wrestling tag team champions of society, certainly didn't seem too phased from you guys. And I want to give you guys the opportunity now to respond. And I'll go with Champagne Charlie first, since you kind of halfway stole my introduction. So, I mean, what would you like to say now to the society? And even the lawman Kyle Kennedy, you're welcome to throw him in there as well. So, what do you want to say to the society?
In what universe did they think that we weren't going to respond to this? Okay, you try and verbally run us down. Look at us, we're not flinching, okay? So anytime they want to jump on us, they're more than welcome to do so, okay? Because the First Class, we're here to make a statement, and that statement is, we are the First Class of wrestling, and we're more than happy to prove it. It doesn't matter where it is, and we'll gladly add a little bit more gold to our collection.
And at this point, you guys have got so much gold that I always joke you guys and Disciple have the same problem in terms of carrying these things around. But, you know, the Nomad Dalton Garrett, you especially, because I know the lawman Kyle Kennedy had said a number of different things about you, and we even kind of heard Callum Jakester a bit here and there in there. So, I mean, I'm giving you the opportunity because you don't look like a guy that I would certainly want to get on his bad side here. So, Mr. Nomad, I'm going to give you the opportunity now to respond to the society and some.
Well, where do I start? It's blatantly obvious that I'm living rent-free in the lawman Carl Kennedy's brain ever since that we did the party show for Little Savvy.
Yes, I remember that
Ever
very well.
since we got hands on each other, he's banging on about, how he eliminated me in the Rumble. I'll reiterate, it took 6 of them to put me over the top rope, okay? The guy clearly he can't get through the day without thinking about me. So, I'm in here and there's nothing he can do about it. I think a lot of it is he sees what he brings to the table and he wishes he was me. He wishes he has what I have. 26 years this year I've been doing this. This isn't an over the night thing. This has been what I've toiled and tilled for over 20 years. I've put the time in and my time has finally come. I'm working with one of the best guys in the business at the moment, one of the best pure workers on the scene.
Thank you.
And it's taken me to new heights. It's given me something, I'm trying to impart what I know to Champagne Charlie so we can get him up to that level as well. And it's worked. He's already got his first title. I know that title number 2 is not far away. It's really not.
Here's the thing.
Come to Jakester. Again, he tried to talk tough. Honestly, I've never seen the likes of it, really. Anyone can play tough, Majakester. You want to actually be tough? Step in the ring. Put your hands on me and let's see what happens.
All I will say is this: when it comes to, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's the society, whether it's the swarm, whether it's the working class militia, it doesn't matter who it is. Basically, everywhere we go, we create what I like to call a domino effect, which means you line them up, we knock them down.
You guys do look like you might be domino players. You guys look like you might be 2 of those guys in the locker room that are just sitting there on a table somewhere, maybe a small table, and you're playing dominoes, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in, and you guys stand up, and then all of a sudden chairs, tables are all flying and who knows what else. And I've got some more comments, so let's see what people have to say, because people are already willing. They're already willing to talk, and I'll have an announcement in a few minutes because you guys are going to be with us probably a few minutes longer than anticipated, because our guest after you guys, unfortunately, probably is not going to be with us. But hey, that's okay.
Shame.
That's okay, but it gives you guys more of an opportunity. Uncle Ralph says, ready and willing, gentlemen. So that's his message on behalf of the Modern Day Mafia. And I want to see the Modern Day Mafia at a number of different places coming up. So could be there. Stay tuned. This individual is one of our favorites. Says, good evening. Gives a thumbs up and an emoji. So, yep, big Andrew fan. See Andrew at all the NSAW shows on the streams when I watch them. Michael Knoll says, makes me wonder if it's going to be in Zenith. Is it Zenith? Zenith? I'm trying to figure it out. How am I saying?
Sadly, it won't be for me, as I've already got a booking, unfortunately, on the same night. Yeah, I've got a number of things coming up. DKW here in the local area of Essex. I've got DKW Mayhem this Saturday, actually, on the 26th.
Okay.
Sorry, on the 4th of March, sorry. I've got DKW A Night at the Wrestling Rebooted, 26th of March. And I've got, on 1st of April, DKW Turmoil. So, yeah. Yeah.
You're really busy this month. I didn't realize you were that. You were a little while, but wow, you just kind of rattled them all off there.
Yeah.
However, the Nomad is available for Zenith. And the Nomad may well make an appearance.
Oh, yeah. You are. So you're available April 1st.
I certainly
So this
am.
wouldn't be, and this wouldn't be an April Fool's.
He will represent the first class with pride and put some people in their place.
Okay, well, you know what? Certainly, it looks like it could be some April Fool's joke on somebody in the locker room, and then saw. But
well, it's my birthday weekend, and I'm actually looking for the perfect way to cap it off. So to shut the society up suits me down to the ground.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll certainly see what else other people are saying. Obviously, Tasha, big shout out here to Sasha Rose Carberry. Savvy is watching with Richard, but won't let Richard type a comment because she's watching it on the big screen. Boy, very flattered to be on the big screen here. Somebody's big screen.
Our number one fan is Little Savvy.
Absolutely,
so,
Little Savvy.
I think this person might be competing for your number one fandom here. That is Dan Robertson, who, by the way,
Oh.
this is kind of peculiar, but I'm actually wearing, I should probably show it here, a Young Horror shirt because he has his shirt up on ProWrestlingTees.com now. So I thought
So
Mr. Robertson.
I've been watching Dan Robertson, and it's kind of comical him trying to suck
Well,
up.
can
to
I ask you guys this
society
before? I have a ton of comments here. People really want to talk to you guys tonight, maybe more so than maybe anticipated. But any advice to him? Because I feel like if you were watching CCW and their social medias this past week, it still seems as if Dan Robertson is going along as if he's buddies with Remus Kane and the Society. And we had Kyle Kennedy on here last week actually trying to tell him that, look, find something else to do, leave us alone. And yet he's still, I mean, you guys gave him a beating for his life not too long ago. I mean, any advice for him?
Listen, we may not like the Society, but we respect what they're about. They're a bad group of guys, and they know how to deliver a beating, okay? So if Dan Robertson wants to keep on trying pushing the buttons and what he's doing, it's not going to end well for him.
And it's no good trying to cozy up to us because, unfortunately, we don't deal with second-class, second-rate wrestlers. And unfortunately, the guy's not fit to lace up my boots, let alone step between the ropes with us. So I'm sorry, Dan, but
yeah,
please stop.
He had the opportunity, but he ran away. So there we go.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. You know what? I have a ton of people here that want to talk to you guys, so I'm going to try to get to as many people as I humanly can. So this individual says, a very good evening, gents. So we'll say that. We'll say. Slowly build here. Slow build. The upgrade Calamajakester says, who are these guys again? I don't remember seeing them in Fatal Attraction. What would you like to say to that?
You can thank his lucky stars we weren't there. That's all I will say to that. Because
so let me ask you guys this question then. I mean, if you guys were there, do you think that they would still be holding the tag team championships?
Not a chance.
No chance.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. Those belts would have come back with us.
Here's the thing, right? How Dalton was talking about issues he's got with Kyle Kennedy. I have major issues with Remus Kane, in my opinion. And do you want to know why? The show we did, okay, Remus likes to talk about how he pinned me and eliminated me for their match. Fine, but guess what? He didn't, nor could he ever get the job done all by himself. And afterwards, when he tries to cheap shot me, guess who it was who sent him running to the backstage? Me, whipping him like a dog all the way to the backstage area. So
this is the thing. These guys are very, very good at talking when they're in a pack. Yeah. But you separate them and you take them and you split them down to their elemental pieces. You take them one-on-one. These guys, I'm sorry, they're pretenders.
So why do you think that is, though? Listen, you're a veteran, right? The Nomad Dalton Garrett. You've been in this business a long time. You've had a lot of success. Why do you think that is?
It's not just one thing. It's a plethora. I could spend all night talking about what they're lacking. But I said that together, they make up for each other's shortcomings. Separately, they have holes in their game that a guy like me will know how to exploit. And a guy who's been learning from me, Champagne Charlie, he's got their numbers too.
Let me ask you a follow-up question. Let's say, hypothetically, they wanted to change course and ask you for advice. Would you give it to them?
I'll give advice to anyone who wants it. I'm not a stuck-up piece of crap. I'm not one of these guys who holds himself above everyone else. I'm not about that. At the end of the day, I have been incredibly fortunate to be doing what I do for as long as I've been doing it. And I've got to this stage through using this, not just the muscles, not just the brawn. I've used this. If I can pass that on, and I don't care who listens, and I don't care if anyone listens. If someone comes to me and specifically asks me for advice, I will give it. Whether they take it or not, that's on them.
In my opinion, the price of advice is respect, to which I feel the society has none.
No, not really. I think they have. I think they really have let their mouths run away with them on a couple of occasions here.
Yeah,
but you know, these are young guys. These are young guys. I think a lot of it is bravado. A lot of it is machismo. A lot of it is ego.
Jakester, I would add, though, he's been doing it for 10 years, actually. I mean, He's actually been wrestling 10 years.
What's your point?
Oh, my point was that
I've been
some would
doing
say
it 26. I've been doing it
No,
26 years, and I still don't know
got that.
everything.
But in his mind, right, from his mind, before I get to his comments and the others, in his mind, he feels that he's a veteran. That's in his mind, because he pointed that out here with us when he was here. That was my point.
I'd say 10 years experience, I'd say that you were seasoned. I wouldn't say you're a veteran.
Okay, that's fair.
To
No,
me,
listen, that's fair.
To me, the term veteran is someone who's been doing it 20 years plus. And there are guys who have been doing it 30 years plus.
Oh, sure. Listen, I mean, we had Big Cheese Logan yesterday. I mean, he's been doing it about 20 years. That's a veteran. I mean,
I would say that's a veteran.
Yeah,
I would say he's seasoned.
Friday nights we have a guy. Friday nights we have a guy, Wildfire Nate Reese, who's in the LWF, and he's been doing it maybe 17 or 18, something like that. I mean, that's a veteran, right? So I get it.
Yeah, I'd say he's definitely getting on for veteran status. I'd say he is veteran status, actually. 18 years is a pretty respectable time to be doing this. He's been around the business. He's seen it. He's probably seen a lot.
Oh, he certainly has, and he certainly can talk a broom off, but that's here nor there. Let me get to some more comments, because a lot of people want to talk to you guys. So enough about me, enough of my questions. Let's get to the people. Dan Robertson says, "Didn't pin me though, did you?" And he gives a wink.
Like I said, we would have loved to have pinned you. You fled the building.
What kind of argument is that? Okay.
Well, he's saying he didn't lose. He technically didn't lose, did he?
Rev, I'm telling you now, there was a Dan Robertson-shaped hole in the goddamn door. He left that quick.
Well, you know what? I think the society might give him that beating at one of these days. I mean, because certainly those members, with the exception of...
They'd go up a notch in our book if they did. That would put them at notch 1. So, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fair. The Lawman Kyle Kennedy is here and says, "My ears are burning." And he says, Michael Knowles will be there April the 1st, which, by the way, 4 weeks from this Saturday. So time is definitely flying, and
Indeed.
I have no doubt
Isn't it just...
Also here, Tasha says Dan will lose. Savvy would kick his butt.
Definitely. Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I second
and
that.
Dan Robertson says, "What's wrong with my shirt?" Well, he's got a Pro Wrestling Tees page. I mean, I've got your shirt, too. I mean, at this point, the running joke is, all my wardrobe is wrestling shirts these days.
Yeah, I said to you off screen, at one point, I'll send you one of my shirts.
I'll wear that. Listen, I'll wear anything. Listen, I think the running joke was I went to a fancy steakhouse in Manhattan, and they were like, "Well, you've got to dress a certain way." And I was like, you know what? I walked into the place, and what did I do? I had a Reynaldo shirt on, and people looked at me.
Honestly.
They couldn't kick me out at that point. I wasn't paying the tab.
Wherever I go, it's denim, it's a t-shirt, and it's my plaid shirt. That's how I'm comfortable.
And you know what? At this point, I'm not in the business of trying to impress anybody. I am what I am. But people want to.
At the end of the day, I don't feel that I need to impress anyone. I think
that's how I feel at this point. I'm not in that business. But this person says no shortage of teams in this local scene, so you definitely won't run out of competition anytime soon. Maybe
Definitely good to hear.
Yeah, see, I love that word competition, because in mine and Charlie's mind, you guys aren't any competition. I just can't see. I can't see anyone with the pedigree that we have. I just don't see anyone getting it done. But you know, I've been surprised before. I'm sure I'll be surprised again.
Happy to be proven,
Mr. Gale,
happy to be proven wrong. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have a ton more comments, so I'm going to try to go through every single one of them here.
Bring them on.
Michael Knowles says, again, Dan still deserved that beating from Horace. I am sorry. Nope. Why would I be? He deserved it. Meaning at Fatal Attraction, where young Horace gave Dan Robertson the beating of his life. And
well overdue. But
some would say, how did Dan Robertson find it in him? He had that intestinal fortitude to actually get the 1, 2, 3. He got the win. I mean, and Chris Murphy says, wasn't Dan Robertson the one who ran away from you
That's
guys?
yes.
That would be the one, yeah. That would be the one.
Yeah.
Also, I got to give a big shout out to the guest last night, Big Cheese Logan, who says he's already sent my shirt out in the mail. So that means I'm looking forward to yet another added to the collection here of wrestling shirts. So at this point, the only thing I may ever wear till the day I die is wrestling shirts. I'm going to have so many at this point. So,
hey, mate, it wouldn't be a wasted life, Mr. Bryce.
no, but I tell you what, listen, I'm not
life to live.
complaining. I am not complaining here, but I have got many, many more comments here. My God. The upgrade Callum Jake just says, why not ask Pride what I'm like outside of the pack?
There's nothing really to say to that, you know what I mean? Why would I ask, you know?
Well,
I mean, you like I said, all you've been doing is talking the big game. All we need to find a time to step into the ring, and then
So
we
let
can
me ask
settle
you a
this,
side
so.
point. I got more comments. I'll come back to them. But I mean, do we need to put the pounds up? Do we need to independently promote this? Do we need to see you guys in the society in a street fight somewhere, in an alley somewhere, in a small town somewhere? Or maybe
It's getting to that
no,
point.
because at the end of the day, I just want to beat them. I don't want to kill them. You put them in a street fight against me, and I'm sorry, that's playing right into my hands.
At one time, it was right after COVID, we had RP Davis and Andre Decker, who was on last week, and RPD, obviously, the TNT Ignition World Champion and big-time star, and basically those two guys had such an animosity for each other that they basically had to have a street fight. So, I mean, it does get to that point sometimes.
Listen, all I'll say is
I don't see we've got that far yet. I mean, Charlie, I don't know how do you feel about it, bro?
All I'll say is this: we don't hate these men. We just want their titles.
Do you think they hate you guys?
Oh, I think so. Yeah,
they may well, but at the end of the day, I'd say a lot of it comes from jealousy. They want what we have.
There's an
they
old
want
saying.
what we
There's an old saying: "He who angers you conquers you."
Interesting.
So like
I hadn't thought about that, but I have comments that people want to talk to you about.
If you can get your opponent to hate you, 99% of the time, you will best them.
All right. Well, that certainly very well could be the case. I'm going to take your words for it here. But this individual says here, much love to the first class, unsung heroes of the British tag team wrestling scene. Was extremely entertaining watching them batter Robertson, Horace, and the Society. Deserve a hell of a lot more, and a heart emoji.
Thank you very much.
This individual here, very thinking man's like.
Indeed.
Let's move on. Carry on, shall we say? The upgrade, Caliber Jakes just says, well, I'm a veteran in dog years then. Yeah, because is dog years times 9 or is that cats? What is dog years? Times 7 or times 9?
Dog years is times 7.
Okay, so that would mean he's got 70 years in the business? 10 times 7?
Well, I'm sorry, but then, you know,
what are you still doing in it?
Well, Ric Flair's still hanging around.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The Lord Man Kyle Kennedy would like to say, pretenders, excuse me, we're on a freaking tear right now. How dare you? Nomad, you say you're free April the 1st. Show your ass up to Zenith, and I'll show you how much of a pretender I am. And I want to add also to this comment here, Mr. Nomad, that Donnie Franchise on Thursday's show, who is part of the Wrestling Appreciation Society, it was now announced over the weekend that he, it seems like, is going to be showing up, and I'm sure he and Mr. Kennedy are going to cross paths, and he and Mr. Kennedy are going to be in the ring against each other April the 29th at Deadline for Wrestling Appreciation Society. So it seems to me, Mr. Nomad, that you're the second person on the 1st of April that might want to get their hands on Kyle Kennedy.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we're at the Wrestling Appreciation Society on the 29th of April.
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Champagne Charlie.
Indeed,
I believe that's one on our calendar.
Yeah, like I said, it's unknown yet as to what our function is going to be, but like I said,
we are scheduled to be there.
So I mean, so is this where you guys have bought a ticket, or you've sent a donation, or you don't know yet?
I can neither confirm nor deny anything at this time.
Well, I'll tell you. All right, listen. I'll tell you this much here. I think we've got a little over 60 days or so until that time comes. So if there is a possibility that we find out some updates with the Wrestling Appreciation Society and they go first class, we hope to at least get some information
You'll
on
have
this.
to ask the bookers about that one. Like I said, it's
Absolutely.
Why do I feel like that? Well, why do I feel like the week? Listen, why do I feel like the week prior I might have had the booker on that company last week? I'm just. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All I know is we've been asked to appear, but I don't know in what capacity yet.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
But you could still, there's still a possibility you may be asked to be fans, security. Those possibilities still exist as well, right?
I think we're a little bit higher than security, but all I know is we've been asked to appear. I don't know in what capacity.
We've been told to show up. We've been told to bring our boots. And that's all I can really say on the matter.
Okay, absolutely. Well, you know what? Listen, I'm not going to interrogate any further because people want to talk to you guys. Michael Knowles says, only a coward would use that argument. Didn't pin me now. You ran to London, never came back. So basically he's saying Dan Robertson's a coward, which I know he doesn't like Dan Robertson. He doesn't like Dan Robertson.
I don't want to go casting aspersions. I don't want to go throwing mud at anybody. I believe actions speak louder than words. You guys were there. You saw what happened. You're free to make your own interpretation on Dan Robertson, and that's all I'm going to say.
Listen, this is what happened at the end of the match, right? Even though we went in, I admit we got a little bit cocky, and my cockiness almost cost us the match, okay? But I will say this. Dan Robertson didn't prove a damn thing to me. Young Horace did. He showed me he had great heart, determination. Young Horace announced he's got this match coming up, at Brawl, where I think a 6-man elimination match for some title.
He's going to be a He's a Firestar Wrestling this weekend. He's in, I believe, the Open Weight Challenge Rumble there. He's there with that. I've also heard some other places he's going to.
But I said Brawl. He's going to be at in Birmingham.
Well, I know Firestar. He's advertised for Firestar coming up.
Yeah, but this 6-man match I'm talking about, a Brawl with for the title. My money is on Young Horace.
Really? So you know what? Listen, we could maybe see him back on Sportswire with some gold. I mean, he started his career out on a little bit of a losing streak.
We've spoken a few times, and I have no issues of giving Young Horace.
I know you guys have talked about that.
An opportunity of one-on-one competition because, like I said, in a tag, I'm not even going to even call it a tag. It was a glorified handicap match that we had.
It really was.
Yeah,
but credit where it's due. The man stood his ground. He took his lumps and he took them like a champ.
Well, and that's why he has a shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. But I have a lot more comments because a lot of people right now are tuned in. Loving
this.
Chris Murphy says, I mean, only real challenge for you both is myself and Theodore Powers, the current BHW Tag Team Champion.
Is that a challenge?
Is that really?
Well,
Chris, I've known you a lot of years, brother. I remember when you broke into the business. I was around you when you were training. Dude, you've come a long way, but I'm sorry. Inside the squared circle, you just come up short. I'm sorry, bro.
And some would even say in non-stop action wrestling, you guys have had already more success than Chris Murphy has.
Well, again, I'm not going to go I'm not going to let people put words in my mouth. I speak for myself.
Well, I mean,
up at NXAW, we've given a good showing. I think we've given a good introduction to ourselves. It's just now down to the powers that be to keep us coming in on a regular basis and keep us relevant.
Well, Joshua Snow, I know that he's coming back to Sportswire very soon. So I'll be sure to ask Mr. Snow about you guys. Calma Jakes to the upgrade says, how's April the 29th sound? Then he also goes further and says, boys, what's with this hate word? You say you're running out mouths, but you're the ones putting words in our mouths. Never said hate, but the feeling is mutual. You have titles that we want. You want to respond to that?
So is he saying that he wants a shot at this?
He wants titles that you're holding right now.
Listen, if I can get the booking approved, I have no issues putting it's called a fighting championship for a reason, okay? And if I didn't accept a challenge, I have no right calling myself the fighting champion.
I've got no problem putting my Intercontinental Championship on the line as well. So we can meet in a tag match, we can meet in singles. I don't care. Long story short, we don't hate you. We respect you. We respect what you've achieved.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, you're the one running your mouths about us. We didn't say nothing about you. You started this conversation. Don't get humpy. Now you don't like the response. You started this. We're just piling on.
exactly.
Okay, all right, that's fair. And I do want to make the announcement here very quickly, just one more time to sort of fully confirm as the guys will hang out with us for a few minutes longer after the scheduled time of the GT Ministries and the Nonstop Action Wrestling World Class Champion Disciple. He is not able to make it. It is certainly something he has off the air, non-wrestling, that he is not able to attend with. So certainly we wish the champ well. We hope for the best with him, and we'll get him back on certainly
Absolutely.
before the next GT
Yeah.
Ministries.
Hope everything's okay, Disciple.
Yes, and certainly we definitely have him in our thoughts. So we certainly want to
it'd be a great idea if next time we could all do this together, like all the champs.
You know what? I mean, somebody asked me. Well, we had Wednesday show, which was sort of interesting. We had the Scottish Savage Davey Blaze, where he basically talked about putting cream on another wrestler, and then we had, I think it was 5 other wrestlers on the stream at the same time. So we're certainly open to anything here on Sportswire. So I would say never say never. I got a bunch of more comments here. Let me try to work them in. So Callum is a dog, then better bark and kneel at the feet, but Remus Kane has come in the chat, and we saw Remus Kane wrestle for the CCW Carnage Championship held by the gentleman thug Ronnie Thatcher this past weekend. Yeah, and he says here, gentlemen, I see many challengers. Happy to throw their weight around through interviews. But until you step into the ring to face us, they will only remain weighted yet empty words.
Oh yeah, as far as the opportunity.
Many times. Go on, Charlie. You respond to Remus, because at the end of the day,
look,
I haven't got nothing to say to this clown.
Listen, we want an opportunity, okay? You know what I mean? These guys like to walk around throwing their weight all over the place and trying to scare people with their dark image and stuff like that. It doesn't work, okay? Halloween costumes do not work on guys like us, okay? So if you really want to prove yourself as a legitimate team, then you need to take on the force of the first class, okay? So stop dancing around, stop trying to make out your tough guys by slagging us off when we're not around, because it's not doing anything for you, okay?
I mean, at the end of the day, I wasn't really going to respond. I was just going to do my talking in the ring. But, me and Charlie, we talked on and off. We met up a few times, and we talked about what was being said. We actually said before we went live, it seems like our names are on a lot of mouths at the moment. We're being spoken about in quite a few places.
You think that's jealousy?
We're doing... I think we're doing something right. People can see we're not just pomp and circumstance and we're not peacocking. We are what we say we are. We are the first class of professional wrestling. We bring such we're good value for money. We're entertainment for money.
I'll tell you what, you bring us value. I mean, people come out of the woodworks and they want to talk to you guys. Sometimes you have wrestlers come on and you don't get that. You guys get an instant reaction every time you're with us. You've been with us 3 times now. Yep. Every time the reaction gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
And plus, here's the thing. Us as a team, we've admitted this to each other, right? It shouldn't work because we're so different. But we just have this great undeniable chemistry as a team.
Sure. At the end of the day, I think it's because we respect each other and we like each other personally, and that actually translates into a good chemistry in the ring. At the end of the day, we've traveled hundreds and hundreds of miles together already. And the team's only been
in a short amount of time, really, because you guys haven't been together that long. It's not like you guys have been together for 10, 15 years. It's only been, what, a year plus?
It's not even been that, Rev. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, we've been friends for just over a year, but, as soon as we stepped into the ring as a team for the first time, we just knew we happened upon something. Now it's all about honing that and polishing that and developing it into a great solid team. which I feel we have the potential to do.
I say
No, you
later
guys
on this
definitely do
year,
that,
we're
though.
both going to be in singles competition at Immortal Wrestling.
Yeah.
So Champagne Charlie will be defending his fighting championship. And I'm actually going up for their national heavyweight championship against the Devil's favorite demon, Damien.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So, I mean, that being said, uh, Immortal Wrestling have just unveiled their tag team titles. And if the worst should happen and I don't capture the National Heavyweight Championship, if the worst should happen and Champagne Charlie ends up dropping the fighting championship, and I don't see it happening. But then we've got options, and I think Immortal Wrestling, Jay White, the promoter, Immortal Wrestling, he knows because he's seen the stuff we've got out there in social media land. He's seen what we bring to the table as a team.
Okay, all right. I've got a lot of comments here. I mean, I have a lot of them, and I want to try to run through them quickly. You're a deadline. Well, I'm glad I'll be there then. So he's saying he'll be there. Remus Kane says, then come find us. Fortune favors the bold, but few are bolder than the society. Another champion has tuned in here from Cutlery Championship Wrestling. He's the underground heavyweight champion of the world, and his name is Hybrid. He says, there's the boys right there. One of our favorites, Adam Morgan.
Yeah.
We lost it. We'll have him come back. Adam Morgan, who's back. Yep, the Nomad will be back. I'm sure technical difficulties. The Adam Morgan, who was with us last month and was back in the ring yesterday, says, woo, with a big shout out. I've got more comments. The Lawman Kyle Kennedy says, we didn't start this. They walked into our house and started chatting on us for no reason. You started ragging on us. Don't start what you won't finish. We, the society, are like no other you faced. Also here, Uncle Ralph says, what I've always said, gentlemen, facta non verba. Yes, I have heard Uncle Ralph say that here on Sportswire. Tasha says, Chris Murphy, you're a coward. Never mind a challenge. So I guess somebody's about Chris.
Chris, do you want some aloe vera for that burn, bro?
Rev, can I just ask, because Dalton missed it, can we go back to the comment that Kyle Kennedy put up a second?
Sure, and then I have a comment from Nonstop Action Wrestling, which I need to get to, but sure. Yeah. Let me come back to that. Okay, go ahead. We didn't start this. They walked into our house and started chatting, filling the blanks on us for no reason. You started ragging on us. Don't start what you won't finish. We, the society, are like no other you faced.
Again, Carl Kennedy, you've got a very short memory. We never said anything about the society. We didn't start this. Yeah, we came up to Nonstop Action Wrestling. Yeah, we showed what we were capable of. You guys see us as a threat. That's why you're talking the way you're talking. Don't get it twisted, man, okay? You want a piece of us? We'll give you all you want.
Okay, all right. I'll say that. But let me come to Nonstop Action Wrestling. Let me throw their comment up here first because I'm a little behind on a lot of comments, but I want to get to this one. And management has responded. They say specifically, there's always a place for you here at Nonstop Action Wrestling.
That is good stuff to hear.
It is very, very nice to hear.
Because we like it at Nonstop Action Wrestling.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of... The fan base is amazing.
Fan base is amazing, and they did such a great loyal following. And there's a lot of great wrestlers there who have the great potential to make something great of themselves. And there's also some great established stars that we do want to step in the ring with. I want to step, like I said, I want to step in the ring again with young Horace. I want to wrestle Connor Cage. I want to wrestle.
How about Sammy Blue? I mean, I know Sammy Blue.
I want to wrestle Tommy Dillon. There's some great.
Well, I don't want to go putting my foot in it, but I'm seriously eyeing up Disciple because I think the NSAW World Class Championship, I think that'd actually look very, very good in my
I
collection.
would,
And,
and I would have loved for the champion here tonight to have responded to that, but unfortunately, the champion has a personal conflict
and,
that unfortunately
and
prevents him from not being here. That would have
And
been a great segue.
I've said this already as well. Sammy Blue, I'm eyeing up that Northern Division Championship. I think that would
Ooh.
look
Well,
really,
maybe
really
you'll
good.
have better luck than the man that's going to come up next on the screen. That is Chris Murphy. Well, things have changed a lot since then, and more tag teams a little later. So if you or anyone else is up for a challenge, Paddy Powers and himself are ready. Okay, all right, that's fine.
Listen, someone gives
It's
me a
good
piece of
to know.
paper that says sign here and it'll make it happen, I'll sign it. That's all I will
Absolutely.
say.
At the end of the day, we're not going to turn away from anyone. Anyone who wants to step to us, there's nothing between us but time and opportunity. You know who to speak to. I will take on whoever who wants to take me
All
on.
right, well, it
I
could be
don't care if
time
it's
in motion.
singles, or if it's doubles, whatever.
All right,
Long
well, let
story
me.
short, I would like to get a couple of other guys on side because the society work as a faction. They work as a five, if I'm not mistaken.
Listen, there are a few people at NSAW who are actually under consideration of joining the first class. We're not going to say who.
Now, I'm not going to ask you that question. I can't ask. Let me tell you why I can't ask you that question, because I don't know when you guys are back at Nonstop Action Wrestling. So how can I ask a question when I don't know when you're going to be there? So to me,
I'm going to be there on the. I've just said I'm going up on the 1st of April.
But the both of
I
you
will
together,
have my ring gear. I will have my ring gear with me. Okay, so if they want to put me in against someone singles, if they want to put me in a handicap match, I don't care. Okay, if they want to put me in against all of the society as a lone man, I ain't got a problem with that.
You sure?
And to be honest with you, look, I think the numbers game will get the better of me, but I'm telling you now, I'll go down swinging and I won't go down easy.
All I will say is I'll make it happen at some point. I will be back at Nonstop Action. And also, like I said, Wrestling Appreciation Side, they're kind of in a partnership with
they've been sort of working with
NSAW. So with us being there, it'll be a great thing.
Well, actually, you know what? Can I ask you guys a question? You know, I have a bunch of comments, and I will get to everybody, but I actually want to ask you guys something related to this society. And I want to get your perspective on, because I'm sure you heard a couple of weeks ago there was an attack on a referee, Sammy Rice.
This was despicable. I watched it, and it was disgusting. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, the Zebs are there and they're doing their best, okay? I think for anyone to attack a referee, it's abhorrent. It's shameful.
I mean,
put your hands on other workers. You don't put your hands on the refs.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, I may have pushed the referee out of the way, but that was only in a moment of anger and stupidity. But you never do go out your way to physically harm the official. It's just not.
I've never, in 26 years, I've never put my hand on an official.
And this referee right now, I mean, he's in a condition that's very serious right now. I mean, I guess some might have said, should charges have been filed toward the lawman? Some might have said, could charges have been filed? Or, I mean,
at the end of the day, it's very, very difficult with things like this, because what it would boil down to illegally is an industrial accident, an accident at work. Again, referees, they get in the ring and, things happen in the ring. But this happened backstage. This should never have happened. And I think the lawman Carl Kennedy, okay, you're running your mouth. You're very, very good when you're knocking down refs, a guy who wasn't going to fight back. When you're standing across the ring from me, total different kettle of fish.
Exactly.
Okay, put your hands on me and I'll put you flat on your ass.
Well, I can say this. I don't think you'd be Sammy Rice in that instance. I don't think that.
We're sending a speedy recovery to Sammy Rice.
Yes, prayers for Sammy. We continue to hope.
Return soon.
Yes, we definitely hope and pray that this young man
will
go back to a full normal life. But in the meantime, let's get some more comments, because I do have a lot of them. I'll give either of them a one-on-one, easily put up more of a fight than Dan Roberts. Anybody could put up more of a fight than Dan Robertson in that instance.
We've already established that we, Savvy, at 6 years old, to put up more of a fight than Dan Robertson.
That's true, too. That's true. Duly noted. I don't need to scare anyone with my looks. We just turn up, wreck shop, and leave. I must admit, though, I do want to see you two in the ring. I love to fight then, and only then you'll see why people fear us. That is from Mr. Remus Kane. the lawman. I have a lot of comments here. I mean, I have
Remus, if you're
countless.
looking for fear, you've come to the wrong place.
You
We don't
started
fear
this.
anybody.
You started this. We're just piling on. Just not true, is it? The moment you came into Ensor, you targeted us for no reason other than the fact we're younger, better, hungrier, and that scares you, and so be it, basically.
This is it again. If they think it's fear that's motivating us. It's not fear. We're not scared of any of you clowns.
The only
When will
reason
you understand that?
The only reason we mentioned the society in the first place is we wanted competition, okay? We came into this place looking for competition. These guys decided to take it to a whole other level.
They made it personal. We didn't.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, I can respect that. I have a lot more comments. Chris Murphy says, "I'm not a coward at all. I faced Sammy Blue, and he was the one running away from."
Hey, we had nothing to say with that comment. Okay, that was
No,
not us.
that was nothing to do with us. At the end of the day, I'm sure you gave it
like
your best,
Chris Murphy,
Chris.
though. I like him, though. I like Chris Murphy. I
We
had
have
him
no
on a
problems
few
with
times.
Chris Murphy.
I like him.
No,
I
I
think
don't have
there's
a problem with
something about
Chris
him. He's
Murphy.
all right. He's all right in my
Look,
book.
like I said, I've known him a lot of years. I've got no problem with the guy personally. I just think sometimes he thinks he's better than he is, and he lets his mouth run
Well, you
away
know what
with
it
him,
is?
and then he
Outside of the
comes up
wrestling
short.
world, I'll tell you what is outside of the wrestling world. He's really well known. I think that's maybe he's the success has gotten to him a little bit. Maybe that's what it is. Because in the outside the wrestling world,
If that's the case, stick to Star Wars cosplay and stay out of the ring, man.
why do I feel like? And I think I said this. Was it last night with Big Cheese Logan, or I said this on one of the more recent shows on Sportswire? I feel like these days my job is dived more into Ricky Lake, Maury Povich, and Jerry Springer territory more than Chris Lappin or anybody else out
Ding,
there.
ding.
But hey,
Yeah.
the ratings seem to indicate that way. But the lawman Kyle Kennedy has a ton of comments. He says, should not that you admit that, though, because you have to put up this wall of, me big tough man, me veteran, me got championships. So do we, fellas, and we ain't stopping anytime soon. So this moment you're free. Come back and step into
you've
the
got one. Whoa. You've got a set of tag team championships. Champagne Charlie is packing a singles belt. I've got 2 singles belts with a third one sat up on my dresser. Okay. Everything we've done on our own. The thing is, we're formidable as singles competitors. Together as a tag team, I'm sorry, we're undefeatable.
You know what? I mean, we'll have to find out here. Certainly stay tuned. I want to give a shout out to a soul collector who was with us on Wednesday. Yep, we had a soul collector on here. His name is Skulls. He's from the state of, is it Arizona or California? I forget at this point. But at this point.
I believe it's Arizona, actually. But
yeah, I figured that. Well, thank you for letting me know
that's a tough state to live in.
I had a cousin that lived in Arizona. He did. I think it was refrigeration. And I didn't know him very well, but I used to run into him. Then he moved, and then he was there, I think, like 2 years, and it was too hot for him, and he moved back east.
Yeah, I hear the heat is supposed to be, hard to take.
Yeah, well, Scott's
Absolutely.
a collector, so he knows he's fine with the heat, probably. Hey, it was a joke. It was a joke here. Michael Knowles says, "Can management set up a handicap with Dan and these guys? I'd love to see that."
I'm going to go on the record now.
I think they gave up public executions over here about 100 years ago now. So.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one because that could certainly be something that Mr. Robertson probably for his sake shouldn't want. Tasha says would make Savvy's day for the boys to be regulars at Ensign. I think it'd make a lot of people's days. I think there's no question.
They've said they want us back. It's just about scheduling with us, that kind of thing. Because obviously
it is because
that's all
we are popular elsewhere. We're mainstays elsewhere.
We're not trying to give ourselves big heads here. It's just like
listen, you guys. No
everything
question,
we're saying is the truth.
We'll get to some of the dates where you guys are at in a few minutes, but there's no question you guys certainly have definitely done a lot to deserve that recognition. And if you like what you hear from us on Facebook and YouTube, give us a like and follow on Sportswire Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You can listen to all of our great content on sportnarium.com/player. My name, which you know by now, is the Reverend Tom Bryce. I am the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio. I am certainly doing my best to compare or contrast to the likes of Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, Ricky Lake. But in the meantime, we are here with Champagne Charlie and the Nomad Dalton Guy, who combined have 4 championships between them. And they look primed and poised for some more gold in some other places. And could it be in places like Nine Stop Action Wrestling? Stay tuned to find out. But we have more comments. Chris Murphy says, I'm down to take the society down. Sadly, I won't be able to make it to Zenith. But after that, if you need help, I'll bring them down. Okay, all right. So we'll have to see. We wish Chris well. We'll definitely get Chris back on here soon. We owe him an appearance. So want to make sure
absolutely.
we do that. I like Chris, actually. Skull says, let the bodies hit the floor.
Is that channeling Drowning Pool?
That's what I thought. Wasn't that, I'm trying to think, what SummerSlam song was that? Wasn't that SummerSlam?
2001?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was SummerSlam.
Because I know they started using that when ECW did the whole invasion angle. In
yes. I'm trying to still forget about those started and stopped reboots of ECW. But our guest Sunday night with us, Owen Carter, says, all respect to these two. We're hoping for the best for Sammy. So
Owen, I believe we met him at the party show we did this month.
I like Owen a lot. Owen is definitely going to be somebody that I'm very, very excited about. Skulls wants to remind me, California. Okay, yeah, I thought it was Cal. He's from California, and he also says that was the SmackDown intro. Okay, yeah, I thought that was like SmackDown 2001ish or so. Yep, that was the days of that here. I got some more comments here. Tasha says, "My eyes don't lie, Murphy." Okay, and also a couple more comments from Mr. Sportswire, the lawman Kyle Kennedy. Cry me a river. That piece of fill in the blanks deserved. I'm glad the ref is comatose. Shows a sign. Basically not to mess with him. He also says, Chris, try bringing your winning count up before thinking of bringing us down. Ginger Irish clown. There is a point, though, that the Irish wonder, Chris Murphy, he hasn't won a match in Nonstop Action Wrestling. He has not won a match yet. There is a point to be made that he hasn't won yet. I mean, he's on a little bit of a streak there, a streak that some
bad luck doesn't last. That's all I can say. But
okay, all right. All right, well, that's certainly fair. Now that we've kind of caught up on all the comments, where can we see you guys in the ring next?
Well, I've got a couple.
Charlie, you're the one with the diary, mate.
Myself for single stuff, I've got 3 dates coming up for DKW, which is the company I work with down here. This Saturday, actually, on the 26th. This Saturday on the 4th. Sorry, 4th of March. DKW Mayhem. I've got DKW, a night at the Wrestling Rebooted on the 26th of March. And I've got the 1st of April, so that's why I'm not at Zenith. 1st of April, DKW Turmoil. Then next month, me and Dalton, this is a big thing. We're making our debut for Carnage Championship Wrestling.
Oh, we spoke a lot about that here, for sure.
Yeah, April 15th. It's going to be, something else.
April's a busy month for us.
April,
I will be at NSAW on the 1st of April, and then we've got the 15th at Carnage, and then we've got the 29th. It appears as well.
Yeah, 29th we're going to the Wrestling Appreciation Society. Like I said, that is ripe with opportunity. We still don't know yet what's going on, but we're going to be there, and maybe finally we'll be able to bust up and shut up the society.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have Owen Carter on Sunday night with Owen Carter, so I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about Wrestling Appreciation Society, and I have no doubt
I'll sure to tune into that.
That'll be a good one. Yeah, I'm excited about Owen because Owen can definitely talk, and he's definitely somebody I'm excited to have on. And I know between now and the 29th of April, we're going to have as much possible coverage as we can provide on Sportswire with WAS. So I have no doubt that you guys will be back on before the 29th, and maybe we'll get more updates. But Uncle Ralph, by the way, who manages the Modern Day Mafia, who are going to be in the ring coming up this weekend as well at Firestar Pro Wrestling, and they're going to be a part of Championship Wrestling Entertainment, also has a few comments. He says, come on, gentlemen, Don't spoil things with remarks like we are unbeatable. Everyone is beatable. You may be difficult to beat, but by no means unbeatable. Don't spoil yourselves with little boy shouts that you were decrying earlier. You will
So,
get a warm welcome at Carnage, a fine promotion with passionate fans, which
oh
no
yeah.
doubt I 100% agree with
Oh,
that.
we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it big time. And like I said, we're just hungry for competition. Sometimes we may go a bit too far with it, but like I said, we have to try and make make ourselves known.
But at the end of the day, I mean, our record at the moment as a tag team has to speak for itself. No one's had our number. No one.
But
Well,
don't you think that, in a way, before I cut you off there, Charlie, don't you think that if it was the modern day mafia who were here in the stream, it would be a little bit more of
oh,
a,
it would be
how can I
different.
put it, a
It'd be,
different
oh, it'd be a different.
conversation?
But we have nothing but respect for the modern day mafia. I mean, we've seen
Absolutely.
what they can do.
I'm not going to take anything away from what the boys have achieved.
And
I'm really not.
if we face them in the ring, I'm sure it would be an all out classic.
See, we were talking about this off the stream before we were getting ready to go live here, and I was kind of thinking about it. Now, that would be a match that I think a lot of people would have a keen vested interest in, because you look at the size of you guys, right? Look at the size of them. Look at the strength that you guys have. Look at the strength that they have. Look at what they've done in the ring in CCW, GT Ministries, and Bolton Town Wrestling. Look at what you guys have done, singles and tag. Now, that would be a match where I don't think we'd have to talk about personal vendettas and bringing up ages and bringing up who needs to gang up on who. That would be an old-fashioned fight.
Unlike the society, you seem to be trying to win the psychological game with us. And by the way, it's not working. The modern day mafia haven't said anything against us.
Well, they don't need to, though. I know the modern day mafia because I covered them when they were in GT Ministries. I covered them when they've been in Bolton Town Wrestling, and I know Uncle Ralph for a while. But I know the modern day mafia very well. The modern day mafia, there's no mind games. They're just guys that go up in there.
So yeah,
that's it. They just want to fight. They'll fight you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all the talking, when it comes to that, would be done in the ring. Everything would be left in the ring.
And plus, I think it'd be a great even match, like I said, because you talked about different heights, different weights, and stuff like that.
And the size, I think.
Yeah. Here's the thing you need to know about Champagne Charlotte. I'll go on the record here. I'm 6'2", 220 pounds, pretty as a picture, and tougher than shoe leather. There we are. So, yeah. And
I think one of our listeners from California, Anastasia Riznia, would probably be happy to know that you are 6'2" and 220 pounds. I'm sure that young lady would be happy to hear that. But hey, that's here nor there.
And I'll go on the record. I'm 6 foot and I'm 320 pounds, and I will bulldoze anyone.
So basically, you're like four Dan Robertsons then.
Yeah, I think my penis is a sign of Dan Robertson. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on
because we really are diving into Maury Povich, Jerry Springer, and Ricky Lake territory. And then what was the other one they used to show when I was a kid? It was Jenny Jones. They had the Jenny Jones show. I used to watch that right before here in America. I was a baseball fan. They would have New York Mets games, and they would have Jenny Jones on before that. And Anastasia gave an LOL, so she might be interested in you, Charlie. So that's she likes gold. So Uncle Ralph says no vendetta, just a pure test of skills. Like I said, the modern day mafia, I've watched them. I know what they bring to the table. I know what you guys bring to the table. And I think that would be a match. And I want to come back to the society very quickly before we get to closing thoughts and a few other things. And we talk about the modern day mafia, right? And there's no kind of like mind games, right? There's no, hey, I'm better than you. You're better than me. But do you think that goes back to your point, the Nomad Dalton Garrett, that maybe there's an inexperience with the society? They have to say, well, we're everywhere. Well, we're dominant. We're this, we're that. We're big, we're bad, we're in numbers. Is that maybe a sign of inexperience?
This is the problem I have, Rev. They're letting their egos talk, where again they haven't got the pedigree to be making the statements they're making yet. Okay, they've had maybe a year together, or is it a bit longer?
Yeah, well, I mean, the current makeup of them, it's probably about 5 months. Kennedy and Kane have been together for over a year. They've been with each other
So
over a year.
the pedigree just isn't there yet. And, who knows? In a year's time, maybe my opinion will change. But as it stands, the pedigree's not there. I'm not running my mouth and I'm not making claims that I can't back up because the proof is in the pudding. 1, 2, 3. And Charlie's got his belt there. So I'm not running my mouth for no reason. I'm talking from experience. You don't collect the belts that we have and not have the raw talent in the ring to get it done.
Yeah. Soon it'll be more gold. Do you want to know why? Like I said, one of the dates I said coming up, March 26th, a night of the wrestling, DKW. I challenge, in my opinion, one of the best in this country, Taylor James, for the DKW Showcase.
I've heard of Taylor James. Yeah, that's a name I think we've mentioned on Sportswire.
The DKW Showcase Championship. It's a championship I've been chasing for over 5 years. You know what I mean? And finally, the opportunity has come my way. So I plan on on taking that title.
That could very well be one of the bigger moments of your career, and it would certainly be a lot to build on. If we see you maybe on the 29th of April, and certainly Carnage, you said the 15th of April as well, that could certainly be a lot of momentum.
We've got more. Like I said, we've been asked to appear at something on I think it's on May 13th for Pride and Honor Wrestling in Southampton.
I know Pride and Honor.
Yeah, it's this thing raising money for the LBGT community.
Well, talk about that. If you guys want to talk about that for a second, because I know that's important.
We have to do this now. Like I said, Dalton and I are not part of that community, but we're allies of it. We believe that pro wrestling is for everyone, no matter who you are or what you identify as.
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer in being true to yourself and being who you are. So
I think if you look at it, whether you're for, against, or in the community or not in the community, right? If you took a step back and you looked in a pro wrestling locker room versus any other sports locker room, whether it's football around the world, basketball, whatever sport, right? I would say that a pro wrestling locker room, in terms of what its beliefs are, orientations, it's probably a lot more diverse than any other sports, maybe beliefs, agenda, whatever it might be. So in a way, in wrestling, you almost have to recognize and try to acknowledge some of these things. And I think that's what you guys are trying to do in supporting this cause.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and I wholeheartedly believe this, we need to stop focusing on what divides us, and we need to focus on what actually brings us together.
Yes.
Wrestling brings the community together.
Oh, absolutely, no question about that. There's no question that wrestling.
So at the end of the day, I don't care what you identify as a gender. If you're a good, decent, normal human being and you treat me with respect, the same respect that I treat you with, we're not going to have a problem.
Exactly so.
Right, absolutely, no question about that. And again, that event is where?
That is in Southampton.
Southampton on the 13th of May.
13th of May, yeah.
All right, so
and then finally, we mentioned this last time we were here, Breakout Pro Wrestling, June the 11th.
Breakout Pro Wrestling. Again, I hear so much about Breakout Pro Wrestling, but yet so little about Breakout Pro Wrestling. I mean, we spoke about this when you were on the air last time with this about a month ago, and it feels like a who's who of people. This is my life, literally, of people who are in Breakout Pro Wrestling, but yet we know so little about Breakout Pro Wrestling.
Well, here's the thing: with a new company, you have to have a little bit of mystique and mystery.
There's definitely mystery there. I'll say that. There's definitely mystery there.
All I can say is, I'm sure that me, Dalton, and all the other guys who are on the show, we're going there with one intention.
There's some big talent stuff in Breakout. I mean, there's some big talent stuff.
But our intention is basically to blow the roof off of the place.
That's the only thing we go in with any intention of doing. We go in because we want to put on a good show. We want to entertain the fans. At the end of the day, that's all I do this for. I do this for the fans. And I know that Carl Kennedy is now going to have a lot to say about that. I do it for the fans.
Yeah.
I do it for the fans. At the end of the day, mate, I'm not doing this for my health. I've got more health complaints through wrestling than it probably is worth
You
me.
know, it's funny you
At the end
said
of the
that.
day-
I was speaking. It was funny you said that because I was speaking with one wrestler, and I don't want to name the wrestler. And I was asking the wrestler about something. I watched one of the matches the wrestler had sent me, and I said, "Oh, aren't you disappointed about how the finish was?" Or whatever. He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "Tom, what's important is if the people had a good time and I entertained them." So you know what?
Absolutely.
That's a fair point, and I do want to
That's-
give Uncle Ralph.
we,
Go ahead, jump in.
we only ever want to send the fans home happy. That's all we ever do. Doesn't always happen because their favorites don't always win. The
No,
bad guys
somebody
quite
has to
often
win and
wins.
lose, right? It's the art of war. It's the battle of competition. There's not going to be winners every single time, and I want to give a big.
If someone comes up to me after the show and said, "I really enjoyed the match," or "good match," or something like that, we've done our job. That's all I can say. So,
Okay,
even if we have come up short, if the person says, "Do you know what? That was one of the best matches I've seen this year." Do you know what? I've done my job and I'm happy.
Hey, listen, I just watched the Hammerhead Smith Kyer Aran match, who was in the LWF prior to that. And Hammerhead Smith didn't win the match, but I still thought it was one of the better matches I've seen countryside all year. I mean, just a phenomenal match. Very old school type of match. And Uncle Ralph was there at the match. He had a front row seat. And he says, "Good night, gentlemen. Looking forward to seeing you soon." And Uncle Ralph,
Absolutely.
I'll have more CCW coverage Friday night, which you'll definitely want to tune into it. And I promise I'll have that announcement very soon. So
meet Uncle Ralph and the Modern Day Mafia very, very
yes,
soon.
Mr. Cobra and Mr. Douglas,
I am
and maybe
looking forward to meeting them in person. I have to say, there's a lot of guys in that locker room that I'm actually looking forward to meeting face to face for the first time. Again,
I would love to see you meet Hybrid. I would love to see you meet the Gentleman Thug, Ronnie Thatcher, Dustin Hart.
I'm looking forward to meeting Dagon. I think that's going to be an interesting meeting.
I've actually interviewed Dagon. He really speaks in Latin. I had a translator actually translating for me because he speaks in Latin.
That's right. I'll have half a dozen beers beforehand, and I'll be speaking Latin.
But listen, like I said, with us going to Carnage Championship Wrestling, it's only a matter of time before we spill over into CCW itself, in my opinion.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. And certainly, maybe Friday we'll talk about that more. And certainly, Breakout Pro Wrestling, I have no doubt in the next couple of months we'll have a lot more coverage about. And certainly, it is a who's who of roster of talent that are there. It's a who's who of wrestlers. Almost all of them we've had on Sportswire so far. So that is a company I'm very, very excited for. But a few more comments here. Michael Knowles says it's kind of funny if you think about it. We have a belt more like a quarter of one if they share it. So that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I guess if there's four of them, because Jenny Hayes is technically also considered to be one of the tag team champions. But do they flip a quarter?
They call it Freebird rules, don't they?
But I've never heard 4 as a Freebird rule. 3 was the Freebird rule, right? What do they do in 4?
Cheat.
All right, I'll give you that one. Who am I to argue that?
Sorry,
Skulls wants to remind us, and this is pertaining to the Pride and Honor show coming up in the month of May. He says the smell is different in the locker room. Well, he's a soul collector, so he remember his smell is different.
It largely depends on where you go. I've been to some promotions, and the locker room is not somewhere you really want to be.
Well, remember, he's a soul collector, so he may be oblivious to smell because he's literally a soul collector. So,
I can't see a nose on that face, so maybe
that's
the
really who he is. No, I'm telling you, we had him on. That's exactly who he looks like. He's almost like Kane. He was born like Kane, the Abyss and Fire. I mean, he's Skulls. He was born as a soul collector. He collects the souls. He's basically he's really a guy you wouldn't want to mess with. I mean, now that's a guy, unlike the Society, that I would certainly for you guys, for your sakes, tread very lightly on, because he's a soul collector and he hunts souls, and it's like one of those just things you really don't know where you could find him, and he could
Well,
come and pop out.
while we're here on Sportswire, if
Yes,
there are
we are
any
here.
promotions in the States looking for a decent tag team, and
Well, I could
you've got a bit
actually,
of
so
a
I can
budget,
answer that for you. I tell you what, I'm going to answer that for you, because I'm sure you guys have heard by now that there's a wrestler that we had on a couple weeks ago called Jenna. He's
Oh, yeah.
basically considered. So I figured that, right? So he's considered to be the king of the death match. He's basically the emo luchador, and he's coming to the state of California. He should be here, I believe, by next weekend, the next weekend or the following weekend, and he is going to be wrestling for one company I can publicly call and say Crimson Crown Wrestling. And there are a few other companies that he may wrestle at that we have relationships with on Sportswire Radio. And there is one promoter in particular. His name is Darrow Johnson. He is the promoter for the Wrestling War Zone out in Southern California. And I could certainly throw out his name. Maybe that's a place that he might want a first-class team that has
this is
numerous
what I'm
championships.
saying. Me and Charlie, we've both got in-date passports, and I'm very, very keen to get over to the States and fly the flag for British wrestling.
We if we get some money together, put it together. I'm sure we can get over there.
On this promoter, because he has Jenna coming in, I'm sure that this promoter would certainly be interested in having you guys. And I'll make sure that this clip is specifically given to the promoter. We'll do that
give him our names and tell him to get in touch.
No, listen. In fact, I spoke to the promoter yesterday because the promoter actually messaged me and said we are doing more coverage of his show coming up, which I believe we might see British wrestlers on coming up. So certainly this promoter is somebody that we have a relationship with the promoter. So the promoter, I have no doubt, might have a keen vested interest in something like that. Yes.
Listen, I love, like I said, the British independent wrestling, but if you really want to try and make it big, you've got to try and go stateside.
Oh, well, you know what? Certainly. Look, I mean, I was speaking with one wrestler we had on recently, and if I say his name, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. So what I'll say in sworn anonymity is that he also might be coming to the States to wrestle, but I can't say who he was because I had him on recently. I've had a lot of people on, so that doesn't really give you a tip, but I do hear that. I know that there'll be, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this one. There will be a wrestler that I'm going to meet in the month of July that is coming stateside. He's not wrestling stateside, but I'm meeting him, and he's actually also part a owner and promoter of a company. So that'll
nice
be, and he's from England.
Yeah. Plus, I have a distant family in America, so it'd be nice to in California.
And where are they? May I ask? Where are they? May I ask?
But they're in California. I don't exactly know the area, but it's about an hour or so outside of Los Angeles. So
and my missus, she's got family in the States as well, in Texas.
Okay, well, Texas is.
And they say everything's bigger in Texas. I'd be one of the biggest things to hit Texas in a while.
You would be pretty big in Texas, I would have to say. You would definitely be pretty big in Texas, and hopefully you don't go there during.
I'm actually wearing my Texas shirt.
I know you're big, Mr. Nomad, but I would just say I hope you don't go there in July and August. A little hot for me in July and August.
Oh, I don't do well in the heat, man. I'm a cold weather kind of guy.
Well, Texas, it doesn't really get cold. Well, except last year they had like a really bad winter storm. But for the most part, just avoid it July and August. That's all I would wind up saying. All right, so fair enough here. All right, so you know what? We've certainly ran the gauntlet here on Sportswire Radio, and we have talked a lot about the society. We've talked about other companies, some important shows of note. We've talked about wrestlers. We've talked about potential matchups, and who knows what else the future may bring here. And certainly Champagne Charlie and the Nomad Dalton Garrett could very well be adding much more gold to their already stacked arsenals. And these guys probably need suitcases. That's the plan. I think luggage, suitcases, maybe man servants might be coming for these guys next.
If we go to America, it'll be hard getting these things through customs.
You know, I was thinking about that because I think Disciple and I had this conversation when the last time he was on. I said, well, I mean, how are you going to figure out carrying these belts around? And
mine's going to carry on. Mine's going to carry on.
Fair enough. Listen, I'll certainly acknowledge all that. And obviously, also Skulls wants to say here that he has his own stuff. We have a show Saturday where he's supposed to be being mentioned. So he says he's got his own cross promotion. And I want to give a shout out to the man that's returned recently to GT Ministry. Speaking of guys who might know a thing or two about promoting, Mr. Gareth Angel. He says, enjoyed your interview tonight, lads.
How do?
Well,
how's it going, Gareth? Are you all right, dude? So, you've been a busy boy of late.
Hope you're doing well.
What about his company?
Listen. We're more than happy to go anywhere. If someone gives us the green light to say, "Come on down," we'll make it happen.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't even wait for a green light. I'm not above actually just turning up.
So you would just show up to the Fountain Church in Bradford. Do you know where it is?
Invading GT Ministries.
No. I've got no problem putting my hand in my pocket and paying for a ticket. I've got no problem doing that.
Definitely, yeah, me too.
Did you think though that Mr. Angel would want you guys to do that? Wouldn't he just want to invite you guys and and see the show? And I mean,
hey, look, I've got no problem paying for a ticket. At the end of the day, we all support each other. It's a joint effort here with us.
And here's the thing: we start off in this business as fans. You stay a fan the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Hey, listen, I bought my Young Horror shirt. I mean, spend $20+ on it. I mean, why not, right? I mean,
you got done.
Yeah, and I also have another promoter / manager, Cutlery Championship Wrestling. Says hi.
Our old friend.
Good evening, sir. How is?
You want to say anything to CCW since they're in the house? Anything you want to say to them?
Listen, like I said, we're coming to your sister promotion of Carnage, so hopefully it's only a matter of time before we step in between the ropes there as well.
Oh yeah, Mr. Barris. I can't wait to meet you in person as well.
He's top tier, some would say.
Yes.
Actually, having said that, well, didn't Colliery actually put the feelers out? Weren't they trying to get us up for something?
Put the feelers, but a deal's not yet been made. That's the thing. So
this is where I think you're wrong. I think they got some charity event going on later in the year.
They've got something up. I don't know if it's been confirmed properly.
Are we talking about the charity show in July? I believe.
Oh right, okay. Oh
yeah, I believe it has. Is it the 11th of July? Is it not?
11th of July, that's it.
The reason I know it's in July because I believe we promoted it. It might have been with Joel Cobra. So it was a Joel Cobra or Ronnie Thatcher. So I know that's a point. But Mr. Angel would like to respond to you, gentlemen. He says that's a brilliant attitude to have, boys. Maybe see you soon.
Ooh.
You never know your luck or lack thereof.
Indeed.
Mr. Angel's a big man. He's always an active man, and he made his return to GT Ministries at Wrestling Church last week. And also, Fight the Fight Round 2, July 22nd.
There we go. Yes.
July 22nd.
Not too far away from now.
I understand. I've already agreed to come up for that one.
Okay, well, I'm in as well then. Yeah, so.
Yes.
All right, well, you guys will be more than top tier. You guys will be fighting the fight then. And we'll, I'm sure, talk about it for sure, because we always talk about
it's for such a good cause. It's for such a good cause. We couldn't not do it.
Well, CCW, I got to be honest, CCW, always in my opinion, and GT Ministries as well, because Gareth is with us. Those are two companies I've always felt that goes above and beyond the means of what they try to do. And I know for different reasons, sometimes those companies get slag for different reasons, but I always feel to me that those companies, what they do for their fans, what they do for the community, what they do for the good works, I think those are really, to me, two companies that I always try my best to really, I mean, Enso as well, and WS.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. So,
and another thing, I like wrestling for these causes, but in a lot of places, I like to try, especially if it's like for a hospice or if it's for a home of some sort. I don't just like giving my time in the ring. I do actually like to go to these places and sit down and speak to the staff in these places, speak to the residents in these places, because you really get a feel for what you're doing.
Absolutely, no, and that stuff is really important. And I also want to single out Championship Wrestling Entertainment, because they have a show for cancer, April the 21st. Then in August, they have a show for helping out with defibrillators. So that's another company that they're actually only doing shows for charity. So they're not making any money. It's a nonprofit, and they're just doing their shows just for charity, which I think is a good model.
Again, I mean, if the guy, anyone from them is listening,
Championship Wrestling Entertainment,
I'm always quite happy to come up and ply my trade for. I don't charge very much for doing charity. All you need to do is cover my fuel, and I'm there.
You know what? And if I'm not a promoter right now, I would gladly cover your fuel and some. But a few more comments. Mr. Angel says, CCW, I'm free that date too, and he gives a wink. So that could be Mr. Angel.
There we go.
Interesting. CCW says, let's make history. Let's make as much as we can for this cause. Thank you, gentlemen. You have my word that I will continue to support the event and anything we can do to promote that, which we always promote CCW here on Sportswire.
Yeah.
So
with CCW,
you're more than welcome, Mr. Barris.
Absolutely. And who knows? It may be that opportunity we're looking forward to. This dream match of ours, against the Bondi.
Hey, listen, opportunity knocks. Listen, you never know what the future can bring, and that's what we do here on Sportswire Radio, and we connect people. And certainly, I have no doubt from what you've heard from the first class tonight, they're going to be connecting in a lot of places coming up. And go ahead, Matt, before we get to closing thoughts.
I will say this. I mean, we actually owe quite a lot to Sportswire, and especially to you, Tom.
To you, because without you, we wouldn't have gotten all this big.
No,
don't worry. You don't owe me anything.
No, we do. Honestly, dude, we believe in credit where it's due, and you've done us such a solid by having us on here. You've sort of made us. You've certainly made me relevant again. So
you have 3 championships. You should not be saying that. You're the belt collector.
Yeah, but this was me this time last year. I was thinking about hanging up my boots.
I know you spoke about that here with us a couple of times, no question.
It was only after I announced my retirement that people actually remembered that I existed. And now that I'm actually out in the community again and I'm doing things like Sportswire, people see me and they're like, do you know what? He looks legit. We'll give him a shout.
And
so I do owe you a great debt there, Tom. So thank you for everything.
We're happy to continue. We want to see you keep going. I mean, if you can go out there, why not? I mean, that's what you're here for.
I'll keep on keeping on. I mean, I've got a bit of a health thing going on at the moment. In fact, I might as well just put it out there. So I'm currently under investigation at the moment for bowel cancer myself.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So
I didn't even know this.
Nothing.
I mean, this is.
I didn't want to say, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to come out. I'm under investigation for bowel cancer at the moment, and I've had some blood tests and stuff done. They can't confirm anything at the moment, but there's definitely something not right with me. I've got a couple of other tests coming up in the coming weeks, but I don't want to focus on the negatives. I want to focus on the positives. Right. And as long as I'm able to continue doing this, I will do so. If it gets to the stage where I have to start treatment or whatever, I know that the business is in good hands, and I know Charlie will be all right without me for the short amount of time that I'll be out to get myself right. But this is why I'm so passionate about wrestling for the good causes. Because...
I mean, I definitely. This was not something we spoke about, or anybody I think knew about it. I mean, I certainly wished you a lot of success here in this fight.
It's been going on for a couple of months, and I didn't want to say anything, but I mean, at the end of the day, you guys have always been so good to me, so I think you guys deserve the truth. So that's where I'm at the moment, and I'm doing okay at the moment. I'm not in any pain or anything like that. I say I've got a couple more tests to go through, and then we will know what my treatment options are.
Right. Okay.
Well, I mean, look, if there's anything we can do on Sportswire, certainly please let us know. And anytime you
seriously, I don't want any special treatment. This happens to people on an everyday basis. I'm nothing special. I'm nothing. I'm just a regular guy. It happens to 1 in 2 people now. 50% of people will get cancer at some point in their lives. I've just drawn a short straw. But I said I believe that we've caught it quite early, which is why I need these other tests just to see how far along I am, and whatever it means, if it's chemo, radiotherapy, whatever it needs to be, I'll do it. If there's
One thing I
anything to
will-
report, then obviously I'll put it up on my socials. But at the moment, at this stage, I'm still in the investigatory stage. So I don't want anyone treading on eggshells around me. I don't want anyone treating me any different. I'm the same me. I've just got a bit of a health thing at the moment. That's all.
I'll say is there's one thing I'll disagree with you about when you said you're not something special. You are to me. You're my friend. You're my friend, and I'm sure. I actually this is a shoot. I didn't know anything about this.
Well, listen, we
I'm
didn't
just
talk
finding
about
it.
this. I mean,
I'm
I'm
just
like
finding out
bored
this
right now. I mean,
so I'm just.
I mean, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, we joked earlier on the week in Sportswire last week. We had breaking news and announcements, and this was like, I mean, I'm doing this 4 years. I don't think I've seen or heard something like this. I mean, this is definitely a jaw dropper right now. I mean,
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, boys, do I look like I'm ill?
No.
I mean,
listen, here's the thing:
down.
if you're not in pain, then it's a good sign, in my opinion. So,
oh yeah,
if there is something there, then it's probably minuscule and it's early. So that's the thing.
And I'll say my doctors, they're sort of really upbeat. They're really really positive.
There we go.
I said they said there's something, they're just not sure what, and this is what these other tests are for. But I said I don't want anyone treading on eggshells around me. I don't want anyone treating me differently. I'm the same me. And whatever this is, I'll kick out and I'll continue to do what I do.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna try my best to move on here to closing thoughts. Gareth Angel says, "I'll certainly be praying for you, brother." Skulls says, "Skulls will hunt cancer. That's what makes him stronger." Well, he is a soul collector, so I mean, hopefully, he's a cancer collector. And Tasha says, "Fingers crossed for you, Nomad, that things go well." Absolutely. We definitely agree with that. Definitely, this is a tough one to take. I'm not going to lie here. This is definitely.
You're telling me. So.
I can imagine from you. It's going to be a lot. You obviously are partners and such, but certainly, I wish this on no one. Hold that one very close to my heart. My dad was unlucky. He had rare blood cancer, and it's hard. My dad was unlucky. He has rare blood cancer, and he's waiting now with him. I guess
it's watch and wait now. Yeah. So
Skull says, "I know your pain." His mom is battling cancer for the third time. I mean,
Well, my thoughts and prayers are with her, man. My thoughts and prayers are with her. She's kicked its ass twice already. I'm sure she can do it a third time.
Well, I mean, certainly. Look, I
feel really bad now. I've really brought this conversation down a step, haven't I? Really?
No,
let's move on.
But you know what? And we will get to closing thoughts in a second. But you know what? At the end of the day, you make a point, and there is a wrestler named Chocolate Thunder. I had him on, and he battled cancer, and he's overcome it. So, look, I mean, it is life, and, these things do happen. Look, I mean, Disciple was supposed to be with us, and he couldn't make it for different reasons. And, look, we are wrestlers. Yes, we are entertainers here on Sportswire. But, look, you have something that one way or another, people are going to find out about it. So whether it was because you couldn't make a show or whether you had to drop a title, whatever it is, your life is the most important part, whether it's to your loved ones, obviously to Charlie, whether it's to the promoters, everybody in the back. I mean, at the end of the day,
if I do have to step away, you guys now know why.
No, and that's why at the end of the day, look, damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's your life. You had to let people know regardless. So like I said, I think the two of us, you especially, because you team with the Nomad, but we didn't, we didn't talk about this. We didn't plan this, and this is not a planned thing. But I'm sure, obviously, everybody definitely gives you thoughts, prayers, and anything we can do. Please let us know. So I'm going to try to get to closing thoughts here. And Charlie, I'm going to give you the floor. Anything else you'd like to say? And I know this is kind of a tough one here, but we do have to, move on here and hope for the best. And anything else you might want to say,
All
and
I will
try
say
and
is
bring it back on a positive.
All I'll say is I'm going to stand with my brother, as long as he'll allow me to. And hopefully, if the doctors are optimistic, then hopefully it's nothing, and hopefully we can keep on moving forward and traveling the country, and who knows, maybe even the world together, doing what we do best. Breaking people's bodies down and sending the fans home happy.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, I'm sorry to bring the conversation down, but I promise everyone, I'm going to keep on keeping on. I'm going to keep on doing what I do best. I'm going to entertain you until the point where I can't. But as I said, I've been told that it's early stage. My prognosis is good, and after these last couple of tests, I'll know what my treatment options are, and then I'll be on it. And I'm telling you now, guys, this isn't going to beat me. Not at all. Okay.
All right, and I want everybody to follow both of you guys on Instagram, Champagne Charlie Vintage 92. That's Champagne Charlie. I want everybody to follow the Nomad Dalton Garrett, the _Nomad Wrestler. Please follow him on Instagram. Also like his page on Facebook. Please support the guys. Please support companies like Cutlery Championship Wrestling, GT Ministries,
Yes.
Nonstop Action Wrestling,
Yes.
Breakout Pro Wrestling, DKW, a long list of companies fighting, Immortal Wrestling. Please support these companies. These guys are a huge part of it. And Kyle Kennedy actually wants to say he's thinking of you. He wants to just, give you his thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people
Don't try and cozy up to me now, brother. I'm still going to kick your ass when I see you.
Well, listen, we all know that you'll certainly give him a fight for sure. And Skull says we're all family here. It doesn't matter what promotions you're in. We're all
Absolutely.
wrestlers. Savannah says good night and love to all three of you. And Kyle Kennedy
Night,
also
Savvy.
wanted to add, CCW, since you're making things happen, give me that green-haired pillock that tried to take me out. I'm more than willing to help beat cancer as well as that tool. All right, well, I will have CCW coverage Friday night, so that'll be something I may bring up, and I think Mr. Kennedy will know the guest that I'll have on Friday, so that guest will be announced in due time. But, gentlemen, I obviously want to thank you here. Obviously, we spoke about a lot. We spoke a lot about the society. We spoke a lot about NSAW, CCW, GT Ministries. We spoke about Breakout, Immortal, DKW, fighting for the right causes. And obviously, this biggest fight that I know the Nomad Dalton Garrett is going to crush and some when it comes to his fight here coming up. And obviously, Godspeed to you, my friend. Anything you can do, we are here. But, gentlemen, keep up the great work out there in the ring, outside the ring. Continue to do what you do as well. And we will definitely speak with you soon. And an old adage that JFK and Ronald Reagan used to always famously say, and I always say it for the past 4 years, is that a rising tide will always lift all boats. And your boat right now may be dealing with a little bit of wind, maybe dealing with a little rain, but there's no doubt that your tide, the Nomad Dalton Garrett, most importantly, will be lifted to the hest of all of the people that care about you. So a rising tide will always lift all boats. So I have no doubt that'll happen with you as well.
Well, thanks for having us back. And I look forward to being on again in a little while.
We will definitely make that happen here. Well, my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You were here with the people that have 4 championships between them. That is Champagne Charlie, the Nomad Dalton Garrett. You'll see them coming up in the ring here very, very soon. You'll see Champagne Charlie this weekend. You'll see the guys. The Nomad will be in the house April 1st for Nonstop Action Wrestling Zenith. You possibly might see them on the 29th of April. You might see them here for Wrestling Appreciation Society, plus places like Breakout Pro Wrestling, DKW, Immortal, you name it. There's a possibility they may show up. And if you're on sportnarium.com/player, you go back to your regularly scheduled programming. And also, one more comment, one more for the road. Thank you, gentlemen. Exciting watch as always. Big love to you, Nomad. Absolutely agree with you. Big love to you, Nomad. We definitely are rooting for you. We're praying for you. Anything we can do, you let us know. And we'll be back here Wednesday night on Sportswire Radio with live coverage with the triple threat Sydney Mountain. No, she's not a wrestler. She's a broadcaster, football player, worldwide football player, and a basketball player. So we'll get her
Nice.
story here then. Yep, she's definitely an interesting guest. And Friday, we'll have a big guest from CCW, but I can't tell you yet. We'll definitely reveal it in a couple days, and I'm sure that everybody here will know who that is. But in the meantime, thank you everybody here for tuning in. If you're on sportname.com/player, you go back to your regular scheduled programming. Again, I am here with the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce, on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio.